So the first piece that was difficult to take off was this guy right here. Had to heat it up. After I got some good heat on it, it ended up coming off and the threads are still good. This is the elbow for the hose. After that, the skin off the one side came off pretty easy. That's it right there. So that is ready to go in and get blasted. The other thing I have to work on, this old base that was on the bottom right down here actually cracked and broke off. So I've got a new base which is sitting right there. We're going to lay it down and get this mounted, but first I have to take the screws off. So I've got one off so far. Next I have to work on this guy. So a couple of things you can do with rusted bolts. Penetrating oil will work if you leave it on long enough, but I find that just a little bit of heat on there goes a long way. Okay, so yeah, I got the skins off of the gas pump. It was a bit of work, not gonna lie. Definitely heating it up helps to get the base free. So now next step, I've got the skins and pieces loaded into my vehicle, and we're gonna take it down and to the sandblasting and painting shop tomorrow morning and see what they have to say. While we're waiting for the parts to come back from the sandblasting shop, we're gonna prepare and strip the paint on some of our own. Okay, so you probably remember that we just had finished taking the paint off and getting this guy all ready. We were able to apply some paint. It's rust preventative, should be great for outdoors. So that's all done. The other thing we did was get this base on. So where is it? There it is, right over there. So yeah, that wasn't actually as easy as it looks. It was super stuck and took a lot of grunting, and I'm sure my neighbor who has a recording studio heard all kinds of crazy sounds and was not super happy, but it's done now, and apologies to the guys next door. Hopefully it didn't take too long. But yeah, so next step is going to be quieter stuff, which is going to be wiring so we can get the lights running on the top. The skins should be back from the sandblasting shop just after the weekend here, and then we'll get it up and running and hopefully looking pretty good, so stay tuned. So today's an exciting day. I ended up getting the painted parts back from the paint shop. So those are the sides. This is for the gas pump, of course, I've been working on. This is going to be the top, so it's nice and shiny and yellow. For the globe, some little bits and pieces and accessories. And of course there's the hat at the top of it. So assembly is going to start today, so I've got to move the bike out of the way there and then start getting bits together. So starting to get the sides on, definitely looking more like a gas pump and less like a pile of scrap metal, so getting pretty happy about this. I'm going to have to drill some holes on the bottom to drill it in because that's a new base, or replacement base. It didn't have the holes pre-drilled. Also starting to get the deckling in place. So like I said, this will be a white rose pump. They came in white, or white and yellow and red, or yellow and red. This one was a yellow and red pump, so that's what it's going back to. And yeah, I'll give you another update once I get a little bit more together. So before I start completely assembling the gas pump, some of the screws had been painted over for years and years and years. So I've got them soaking right now in some industrial paint stripper, because unfortunately when I had the pump repainted, they painted over the, well, they sandblasted it, which is good, but they painted over and it was powder coating. So powder coat is really durable, which is great, but the problem is that it's also really hard to get back off again. So I'm trying, this was completely yellow. I don't know if you can see it, it's slowly coming back to primer. So I'm taking a wire brush and basically just brushing off the excess paint. So I'm going to work on this a little bit and see if I can get them cleaned up enough where they'll thread in properly and where the groove won't be so jam full of paint. Okay, so I managed to get majority of the paint off of the bolts, so the threads should work a lot better now. This is the top of the pump that I'm working on right now. It's all been sandblasted and painted, looking good. Now if these thread in nicely, then I should be able to start working on getting the globe in. So yeah, there it goes. So yeah, I've got the other ones in already. These all thread in nice. So it should mount really easily now. So I'm going to grab the top so you can have an idea what it looks like. This is going to be the top of the pump. So I'm just going to loosely tighten some of these so this globe doesn't come crashing down. That would really suck after getting everything all fixed up. So we're just going to be a little bit safe here and just get these tightened up a little. Kind of like, this is pretty much exactly like your lamps at home, like you'd have in your ceiling, or if you've had to change bulbs at work, same kind of idea. So we got that on there. Yeah, that's going to be looking pretty good. So that will go, I'm going to pan around here so you can see, on the top of that pump. I just have to get my glass in, get the handle fixed up and the hose attached, and it's just about done, so it's coming along. It's coming along. Okay, so you saw before that I got the sides on, the decals on, the elbow for the pump handle is on, and that's the original. Well, it's a really early one. The original probably would have come up a little bit more and gone into the holder, but this is about the same vintage, probably just off a different style of pump. And now the glass is going on and starting to put the top on. I've decided to go with some reproduction looking Edison style bulbs, so these will give it that nice 1920s sort of look. Hopefully a nice warm glow once it lights up. And the next step up top here is going to be getting the wiring done. So I had to build some conduit. We had to use these special little elbows here. Well, I had to use these little elbows here to get it so it dropped down a bit. So now stripping the wires and going to use some rats, hold it together, put it inside the junction box, and I should be able to get her lit up and going. Got it sandblasted, started with the base, got the skins put on, the pump handle, the elbow, and now I've got the globe on. So my electrical does work just fine. I've done wiring a few times before, so I kind of know it, but everything's all hooked up and working. So now I'll stand back so you can kind of get a full view of it here. That is the pump. So it's circa roughly 1922. It's a heck of a lot taller with that top on it. I mean, it goes, I'm glad I have a big ceiling in here because it'll fit. But I think it looks pretty sharp. And lights are all working great. And the Edison bulbs just glow so nicely when they're all lit up. So I'm pretty happy. And I think somebody will be pretty happy with it too.